You're listening to The Dental Guys, episode 58, Restorative Driven Implants Continuum Launch. After years of planning, it is finally here. The Dental Guys were asked to help launch an exciting continuum of learning, which will give you everything you need to successfully understand, place, restore, and implement dental implant treatment into your practice. In this episode, we'll introduce the faculty and the philosophy behind a dental implant curriculum that is truly restoratively driven. No matter what your experience level with dental implants is now, we can help take your implant practice to the next level. This week on The Dental Guys. This episode of The Dental Guys is brought to you by the Dental Crafters Network, your implant restorative connection. From surgical planning to patient-specific guides, quality implants, and final restorations, the Dental Crafters Network provides one relationship with infinite possibilities. Call 1-800-472-8302 today. That's 1-800-472-8302.
Well, welcome to this week's show of The Dental Guys. I'm Wes, the Dental Guy.
And I'm John, the Dental Guy.
John, big day for the Dental Guys. And, you know, John and I have always had a passion for teaching, and this is our next level.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about taking it to the next level.
Right.
This is our next level. Tell us what we got on the docket today.
Well, you know, we've been, as you said, talking about what has happened with this show. And you guys have been following us know that this has really gone from just a conversation to where people keep asking us, you know, where can I learn more about this? Where should I go? Where can I learn? What
is it happening, John? Can they go somewhere and find more of the Dental Guys?
And we already know that there are ways that you can get more of us, but this is really what we feel people are asking for, and that is a place they can go and get one-on-one or group type of experience learning how to do
mentorship, possibly.
Right, it's all about that, right? Our last show you probably listened to was about mentorship, and we've had lots of shows about that. So what we're launching, and this is pretty exciting, is we're launching a continuum that is called Restorative Driven Implants, which is what it says it is. It's a way to understand how to place implants from a restorative standpoint down. And that means understanding...
Crown down, baby.
Right. Understanding
Crown
why
down.
you're doing what you're doing, understanding what you're doing.
I love it.
And then being able to take that to your practice and implement it. And it's going to be research-based.
Oh,
because
yes.
you know we're
us.
all about
Geeks
it.
Corner. Get
That's
ready
right.
to geek
We're
out.
We're going to geek out.
But yet with empirical evidence
Right.
of stuff that really does work.
Right.
And giving you guys the systems you need to begin to implement this in your practice. I think that's what's missing, John.
Right.
Now, we can't do it all.
No,
can we, John?
no,
Because
there's-
what have we always said? Surround yourself
Right.
with people of greater minds,
Yeah.
people that are smart,
Smarter
and you're
people than
bound
you.
to succeed. Who said that? Brandemark,
Right.
the father of dental implants.
Yeah. So we've put together a team
Wow.
of people
I'm super pumped.
that are very talented, people that are smarter than we are in various areas.
People that have done it and done it right.
Yeah. And so what we want to do today with this show, it's not really going to be a typical show. Is we want to introduce
The faculty.
the faculty of
Group function?
Yeah, we've thrown around the name group
Yeah.
function, you know, because it's like a boy band. So I think probably the first person that we want to introduce is Todd Haley. And those of you who've been listening to our show, you know, Todd's been on the show. And the thing that we find is missing from a lot of these continuums that are out there, not that they're bad, and you can learn from many, many different people a lot, and we encourage you to learn from many different people. But what we find is sometimes missing is how do you take implant dentistry back to your practice, and on a day-to-day basis, how do you get your team on board? How do you talk to patients about this? And Todd, you've got a little bit of experience with this. So tell us what your vision is in this.
Before
Yeah.
his vision, though,
Yeah.
I think it's important to understand why we went after Todd and we asked him to teach implementation because of why, Todd? What about your career as a dentist says I can implement something?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things first. You know, I've known you guys. We've worked together now for you know, all three of us, four of us, for quite some time now. And I think you've got a great course. And I think what I do a lot today is I work with other private practices, both on the clinical skill side, but also on the soft skill side of things. And so I think that I'm really excited to be a part of the surgery days, to be a mentor on that clinical.
Because you place
aspect,
dental implants too.
Because I place dental implants as well, and I think that the piece that I have is going to bring all that surgery stuff together at the end. And when you've got a great implant and you've got the knowledge that you've built through the whole continuum, the courses, okay, then hopefully I'll have just a little piece at the end that'll actually help you go back to your practice and be able to start placing implants, talking to patients right, figuring out the financial arrangements, figuring out how to keep your team jazzed about it, what marketing things you need to do.
But why, again, Todd, you're saying all the right things, but what makes you special?
Well,
Why do you poop? Why do you poop rainbows?
He's a special snowflake.
You're a special snowflake here.
Yeah,
Tell us. You're very successful, and I know you're humble, and that's why we like hanging around you, because you come across as just a regular guy that just wants to do it right, but is practical from a business standpoint. What makes what you've done work?
So 80 to 90% of my day deals with, once you've got the technical aspects and the systems in place, is being able to make sure that all of the rest of the functions, and that's what I do. I own Summit Dental Consulting, and we work with private practices to make sure that they're utilizing the best technology. But then I think there's a lot of good people out there that can do that for you. But then what we try and do is actually be able to implement that, okay, to be able to make sure that your team has the right soft skills, that your office has the right look, whatever it takes, okay? And each one is in an individual kind of thing, And
you've implemented this in a number of practices successfully.
Without a doubt, right? Currently, right now, we're working with approximately 30 practices.
Right, and some of the listeners right now are listening to the show, and they say, yeah, I know Todd, and he's helped me.
Right, and I think that the key is here that not only are we bringing somebody in who can do this, but you might have gone to courses where people talk about the soft skills, but have they actually done it? Have they actually gone into a practice or 30 practices and made it happen? And that's what Todd has been able to do, and that's one of the reasons why he's got a proven history of doing that. And two, in our continuum, we're going to have the opportunity for people to bring some of their team to that implementation day, where Todd, along with some others, are going to help to figure that out, pieces and parts. Yes, that's important, but maybe more important is the discussions and the financial side. And it can't just be doctors getting that. I mean, it's good for them to get it, but really in the end, we all know the people that usually are getting people to say yes are really not us.
Hey, it's Monday morning whenever you've just finished taking a course, and really what it boils down to is implementation.
Yeah.
Correct.
So tell me about that.
I think the great part about this is I'm not out on the road telling people how to do this. I work with my practices, and now I'm working with the dental guys, okay? So if you want to get some of that information, if they're part of it, it's going to be great, okay? And again, I think it should bring everything back in and make us more understand the purpose than the task of what we're doing.
It's great right there. That's great.
That is awesome.
More about the purpose, and as you've said before, if you believe it in your heart that it's the right thing to do, and you just simply implement the systems to back up what you already believe, people tend to want that.
Right.
It sounds simple, but there's a lot of things. There's a lot of nuts and bolts of that you're going to kind of bring and say, okay, well, how do we actually make that happen? Because I think we're starting from the idea of, we want to do the right thing for people. And that's why it's great to have you, because that's what you're all about.
Now, the part of the reason that the right thing gets done is because we have a team behind us, and that revolves around assistant, clinical support, the chairside assistant, plus maybe the office manager or maybe the implant coordinator. Something unique about our course is that we're bringing those people to the course for this particular weekend at the end of the continuum. How important is your team and your coaching experience in getting them on board with this implant?
Well, I think, again, you cannot be an island out there, right? We're busy in the mouth in our day-to-day things as dentists. If your team doesn't understand what you are trying to accomplish and where you're headed. So I think, bringing key opinion people from your practice to something like this is crucial in whether or not you're going to have success with actually being able to do what I know most dentists want to do, and that's implement what they learn in a CE.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
We're gonna hopefully give them some good tools, and like anything, you're gonna have to go out then and figure out in your practice where you're at right now. You're gonna need to seek out probably either some more education,
Right.
whether that's an online type of thing, whether that's finding another great consultant, whether that's finding a mentor. But we're going to give you some real good tools that you should be able to take home and make it work.
Well, Todd, we're excited
Yeah, man.
to have you be a part of this.
Thank you so
and
much.
Thanks for giving us your time today to just kind of go through what you're going to bring.
Well, I appreciate it too, and I really believe in what you guys are trying to do here, and I think it's going to be a really exciting 2018 for everybody.
Yeah, thank you
So-
so much.
You bet.
So what happens when your surgical skills reach their limit, Wes? You need somebody
Oh, man.
that has a certain ability to do things that you can't do.
So
Right?
what you're saying is, John, I love saying that too. You notice I've said that because Dr. Gary DeWood, which I love,
Yeah.
he uses that a lot, and I've adopted that from him. So what you're saying is, John, is that you can't do every implant in your practice?
I
Wait a
think-
minute, not even go further than that, John, is that you get in and you're taking that tooth out and the entire buccal plate
Oh, that never happens. That never.
leaves us.
It leaves us.
It leaves us. Now, that's what Chu would call a class 3 socket. Now, if you don't know what that is, you need to come to our course
right.
and know how to handle that.
So we needed somebody
Oh, man.
as a part of this continuum that.
And what a person.
Yeah. So why don't you tell our listeners, and for those of you watching, we're bringing in Dr. Jan Bublik.
Yes.
Let's talk about him.
So Dr. Jan Bublik has joined our restorative-driven implant course and is going to be part of teaching with us and mentoring with us. And I'd like to welcome Jan to the conversation, a new listener to the Dental Guys as a few months ago. And you've been diving in, and you're like, man, I've been waiting for you guys to do something like this because you're all about next level.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jan, good to have you with us. And tell us a little bit about, Jan, tell us a little bit about your background, and because your education is next level. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm super excited to be here with you guys. I've been listening to your shows mostly throughout my training, on the runs, on the bikes, and it's just so unique. I'm super excited to be here, and what you guys are doing, hats off to you. It's awesome. I'm originally from east of Long Island, across the pond from Czechoslovakia.
Little east, yeah.
A little bit east of Long Island, and I'm trained as an oral surgeon in Europe. And the training in Europe allowed me to, along with the training at the University of Rochester in 2000s and early 2000s, allowed me to get to the restorative portion of my practice with a pretty deep background in a surgical portion of the practice. And what I've noticed throughout it's not about restoring and surgery, and everything was kind of separate. And, the courses which I took from the beginning with, all the MISH curriculum and, all the other courses, it's great. But the moment you leave here at the airport, you review your binder, and then Monday morning it's the same day as Thursday evening was. That's why I'm so excited having Todd in here, where there's that missing link, between the surgery, you guys restorative, and then the implementation. That's what I call the whole, partnership curriculum, whatever you want to call it, and that you have somebody to fall back on. That's pretty special.
Right. So you have taken a surgical training and paired it with restorative training here in the United States and abroad,
Absolutely.
and then enhanced your skills by taking some advanced continuums yourself.
That's
And I know also, aren't you licensed as a medical doctor as well in
I'm
Europe?
a licensed in Europe as a medical doctor.
right.
So, my first, the education in Europe is a little different,
Right.
because I trained in a head and neck surgical center.
Mhm.
So we were
It was a dual credential type situation.
absolutely, yes.
Right.
Yes. So, it translates to the DDS MD
Right.
type of training.
Right.
So that's going to allow for you to feel very comfortable with blood.
Yep.
And so for the listeners here that are, going to courses where it might be taught by, general dentists who have not had advanced surgical training, there are times when things get a little hairy. And you might want to have that confidence of when, not necessarily that we're not necessarily telling you that you need to do everything.
Right.
We're trying to, through this continuum, figure out where your limits should be,
Right.
and how do you know your limits? And Jan, what are some of the things that you see yourself bringing to this continuum? What are some of the passions you have about that you would like to see people get better at and to mentor people on?
Thank you for bringing that up. I've been doing this for a couple of years, and what I've noticed in recent, maybe, year, the last year, we need to take a step back. We are assuming that everybody who comes in here knows how to do this, and that, knows how to properly inject, knows how to properly select the suture type, needle, what does it mean, C6 needle, what does it mean P3 needle, what does it mean, PGA, and take that flap and suture it. We assume that that's the case, but we all know what assume translates to.
Yes.
That's not the case. My passion is to make it more as an art. You take that implant, yes, you can drill the hole, sure, we can all help you with that, but then make it look nice.
Yes.
Go to bed and say, damn, that looked really good.
Right.
I did a nice, and it's a stupid thing. I did a nice suture, but it warms your heart.
I love this guy, man.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
So
it's geek session right here.
If you're listening to this, you're hearing this. You're hearing passion. About making things, because we know that what this translates to is better surgical outcomes.
Absolutely, for everything.
Yes.
You become more focused, and you just get into this, they will suction that, they will do that, but you don't want to just get done. Like at the end of 40-minute surgery or whatever, and your hands are, trembling, and it's like, oh my God, I want to get down. No, you want to say, I wish this did not stop because this looks so awesome. That's what I want to teach them.
I love it.
Dude, that's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. And so we think that you that are listening to this, if you get involved with this, we need somebody, everybody needs somebody behind you that says that could be better. That could be better. Your surgery could get better. How could we make that smoother? How could we make that that closure just a little bit better? How can we make that incision just a little bit better? Because these are the things that take it to the next level.
That's absolutely true. But don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that people don't know how to do stuff, okay? But there are a lot of guys and gals I've seen, they are unsure, uncertain, and they don't want to get embarrassed, for lack of better words,
Right.
in front of their patient, in front of the assistant. That's why we're here. You're not going to get embarrassed. Maybe the stuff which you've been doing and you're hesitant about the way how you do it, maybe that's completely fine. Maybe you're doing
Just
it
need
right.
some
You need
confidence.
somebody to tell you,
Yeah.
look, man, this is really cool what you're doing.
you hear a lot about some of the things that Jan's talking about, and you're listening to this, and John and I have talked about implants in our podcast for the last 2 years as a tissue-driven type of a surgery. And I don't want to get too detailed into that, but I want to make sure that the listener knows that they're coming to a course where we're all united. And Jan, you are big time about surgical protocol that drives implants with respect to tissue, soft tissue. And tell us a little bit about your experience and what you've seen as far as like healing when you involve surgical techniques and are taught surgical techniques of how these cases turn out.
See, you cannot disregard the final. Everybody says at the end of the procedure, you spend 40 minutes on procedure, and then the last word is, and then you just suture it and it's done. No, 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 no. You don't just suture it and it's done. You need to understand what you do and why.
Yes.
You know, it's like usually the famous words are "hold my beer and watch this." You know,
Right.
those are the famous words from Wisconsin. It's not, you know,
true.
It is, you know, it's not like I just put the implant and you go home and heal. You know,
Right.
That's not.
It's
the
not just
case.
about the bone.
No, don't disregard the most important part.
Wow, he just quoted one of our
Which
favorite
is-
lecturers, John,
You know,
and didn't
like,
even know it.
Right.
I didn't even know it.
You didn't even know
No.
it. You quoted Dr. Sandra Lazy,
Lazy, yeah.
and
Sonia, yeah.
Sonia, yeah. And she says that the conclusion to surgery does not stop with the placement of the implant in the bone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It stops with
Absolutely.
what we do with the tissue
Yeah.
Yeah.
and how we handle that. And we're going to teach that in this course.
Yeah, because tissue is the biggest issue.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
true.
it.
You know?
It's a great pun, but
That
it
is
works,
really-
man.
Yeah.
It
Well,
works.
it's you know, again, we were looking at the restorative driven implants. That's the name we came up with, and I think that you're starting to hear that it's all about thinking what the final result will be with every step that you take, whether it's the planning, whether it's the placement, whether it's the soft tissue manipulation, the provisionalization. These are all things that you will learn
Right.
at this continuum. And I want to get also to talking to a couple other people that are going to be involved with
You know,
this
there's one
on the
compo-
first steps.
Yeah,
right?
the one component to this that I think gets overlooked is how do we plan surgery? Do we plan it from a, hey, implant up or crown down technique? And this
Right.
whole idea behind the name RDI, restorative driven implants, is that it does start with the restoration. So that means we got to do wax ups. Now, there are ways to do wax ups now that are run virtually, they're done analog. I mean, there's all kinds of ways. And we've had one guy on the show
Yeah.
before that gets it.
And once again, you know, we have to find somebody who's smarter than us,
Right.
Because when we get to this point where we say, okay, we need to go back to
We
the
don't
beginning,
know. Let's go back
We
to the
need to
beginning.
find somebody. We need to find people who have the knowledge to be able to understand the planning, the guide process, help you to take the information. What information do you need to give
Right.
to them? And so we've got with us today, well, really two people that are both
Somebody that's never been on the show before. We're
Yeah.
going to introduce him. And
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Let's bring him in. Let's
Yes.
bring Bob in.
Bob.
Hey guys,
And
good
just
to be
it's good to have you here. And it turns out that Bob is paired up here with, you guys know him as Brad, the dental lab guy. Welcome to the show, Brad.
Hey guys,
Yeah, that's a familiar voice.
Yeah, it's a familiar voice, but
to be
Bob,
back. Yeah.
it's glad I'm good. I mean, I'm glad Bob's here because
Yeah.
Bob, to me, your brother described to me what you were before I met you as the guy that gets us out of trouble and sees things. Like, you were the visionary that saw guided surgery needed to be implemented. You guys were at IDS years ago and helped bring co-diagnostics to the United States.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about your experience with restorative-driven implants and what it's done for you what are you?
Sure. Well, early on in our career, or my career as a technician, we used to, we're trying to mimic nature. We're trying to make teeth out of stone and porcelain and metal and that type of stuff. But when it comes to implant dentistry, lots of times the implant was put in a position where we're kind of doing some kind of things that didn't mimic nature, and it didn't look natural, didn't look good. So we actually kind of ran into a small little German company at the time, and it was a company that gave us the ability to get the implant in the right spot. And early on, I want to say it was maybe considered a little like kind of witchcraft, because not a lot of people were using CTs and stuff like that to guide implants. So it was kind of like, what's this all about? But after we kind of saw the results, we walked a few of our customers through the process of getting that implant in the right spot and then being able to make a nice restoration to mimic nature. It just kept catching on, and we did more and more of it all the time. And
It was
here we are
14
today.
years ago.
Yeah, 14 years ago.
We started.
14 years
14
ago.
years
So
ago.
you're saying that you guys have been involved with guided surgery for 14 years. You know, how long does it take you to get good at something? You know, and I think that that's something we've talked about on the show.
10,000 hours,
It
John.
takes 10,000 hours is the famous quote, right, from the book, you know, the tipping point. And, you know, we feel that this is why, again, you how do you choose? How do you choose, who makes your guides? How do you
Right.
choose who you talk to? We want to pick people for this continuum that are
The
authorities.
experts.
So 14 years, I think that's pretty decent. That's
Yeah.
pretty decent.
I mean, he's been
Yeah, I
doing it
think
for a
I think
while.
we've done over 15,000 surgical guides.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
And actually, and when it comes to the co-diagnostics product, we're number 3 in the world of producing surgical guides using that.
Wow.
And co-diagnostics, if I'm not speaking out improperly, is the number 1 planning software in the world.
I believe today it is actually the developer was just here a couple weeks ago. He spent a couple weeks with us while he was here, and they were just overtaking with it, which is what's the guided surgery that was before the co-diagnostics that was in the state materialized.
Okay.
Simplant and all
Yeah,
that.
Simplant and all
Yeah,
that.
started overtaking.
So what we look at now is, okay, so how does this fit in to restorative driven implant continuum? We've talked a lot about, again, if you're going to get into crown down, restorative driven, you have to understand what the end result will be before you begin. And so what are some of the things that Brad and Bob, that you guys see that you could bring to the continuum? What kinds of things do you want to teach doctors and teams that get involved with this that will make them more successful when it comes to their implants?
Yeah, why are you even interested in this? Because you've sent me pictures of things in the lab. And why would you want to get involved from a lab standpoint with helping doctors place dental implants and restore them properly?
I think, big picture, it's, what's being delivered to the patient. What are we doing for the patient? And sometimes when we see things kind of put in a not so great position, and you could have done it just a little bit better. It's kind of that, bigger picture, better for the patient kind of mentality. So we're hoping we can bring some of that to the courses.
What do you think doctors will learn from you guys? What are some of the things that they'll be able to take home and implement that they maybe couldn't do if they didn't have you guys?
When things go wrong, doctors we're the first line of defense. They're calling us, going, okay, well, what do I do about this? And we're hoping we can eliminate that. We're hoping we can start and really train the doctors on what the lab needs to create a good restorative implant crown. Right down to the basics of, impression taking, closed tray versus open tray, making sure the impression copings are seated all the way, verifying with an x-ray, sending that to the lab as a second verification.
So you're systematizing the way we go about restoring.
100%.
Right.
Creating a system of success for the doctor, so the end result is to have the patient have a really long-term prosthetic.
Now, from a surgical standpoint, John and I know this, but I want to hear it from Jan, is how important is the design of the restoration to the bone and the soft tissue now today?
Oh, it is absolutely huge. That's why I like being in here with all you guys. It's because, it's not about stick a piece of titanium and everything will heal. Yes, it will. Everything will heal eventually, unless the patient expires first, obviously. But the fact that there is the same measure and the same importance given to planning the hard tissue, where the hard tissue is, within confines of the
Right.
materials, where the soft tissue is, and how the restoration is going to be designed with respect to materials used and the long-term, longevity of,
Right.
the design. That's very, very important. The surgery is one part of that. It's not the most important
Right.
part.
So, Brad,
It's
you're
the
bringing
partnership.
the partnership that you have between doctors and and surgeons and restoring clinicians is so important, and you're able to bring to the table the most modern design techniques. Tell me a little bit about how that's changed over the years, because we're doing some pretty awesome stuff now, and tell me what you're bringing to the table for that.
A lot of it's using CAD/CAM.
Yeah.
And just even starting from the surgical guide aspect, if we're doing a surgical guide with a CT scanner, we can automatically start to develop custom tissue formers. Right
That's
from
what
the
I'm talking
CT
about.
scan. So the most modern technology. So we see where the bone is. We can design those tissue formers to hold the volume of the tissue. We can also synergy that right back into the CAD/CAM and make custom temporary abutments, custom temporary crowns for the day of surgery if we want to do immediate load. So again, advanced technology to help think through the whole process.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're going to have, again, if you're getting involved with this, our goal for you, it's not to make you, and I think that, a couple of us have said, you're not an island. we're not trying to make you an implantologist,
No.
you know, where you know everything because no one is that person. I mean, maybe there's a couple people in the world that I would give that
Right.
that distinction to, but the truth is that we want you to be able to develop who should you be working with, when should you be doing the case, when should you know to red flag, let's talk to somebody about this, when should you call the lab, what does the lab need from you, and then know how they can help you to make things better. What implant do you choose? How do you figure out where to place it? How do you suture? I mean, this is designed to be truly a start to finish thing. And we think that that is going to make doctors who are nervous about getting into implant dentistry,
Right.
give them complete confidence, not necessarily to treat every case, but confidence to know which cases to treat
That's
and
the
how
key.
to go through that.
Is like you've got to be able to make the decisions on the day-to-day basis of when to treat and when not to, and when to refer, and how to develop that team. That's one thing that I like to talk about in these courses is how to develop a team of people around you that support you in your implant dentistry, both restoratively and referral based. It's part of working together for the greater patient good.
That's right.
And I think that's missing in a lot of courses, is that I'm not trying to take business away from my specialists.
No.
In fact, they love me.
Yeah.
And I want to share that passion with people and how to do that.
Yeah,
And
we want you to be placing more implants, but we also want your surgeons that you're referring
let
to
me
be
tell you right
placing
now,
more implants than they ever have
that's
because
right.
of the knowledge
You
you
will.
have.
They
Because
will.
they are going to want to work with you. We want labs to love you. We want them to be hoping that they get more of your cases because you're so good at the understanding. And this all is not something you can learn in a weekend. It's not something you can learn from somebody who just teaches you surgery. You
Right.
have to have a team that's committed to this crown-down, restorative-driven implant thought process.
So what John and I have decided to do is not make this a weekend course. We've decided to put together this team and break this up into an amazing list of courses. And so what you're going to get whenever you sign up for restorative-driven implants, starting in 2018, and the dates are listed here below in the comments section, is go ahead and click that link, head on over there, get signed up, get the early bird special. But let's talk about the course outline, John.
Yeah.
And who's going to be teaching what. Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's important to define that. As you know, I've been placing implants for a long time. I don't place all my implants. I work with specialists, and I typically do abundant bone cases. So I'm going to be teaching, the first part of this course is basic implant principles. We can block that out. All right, go back
Yeah,
there. The
let's
first
back
part,
up.
back up for a minute. Don't cut out on the basic part, Ryan. And
Just say the name of the first course is.
the name of the first course is just
Yeah,
understanding
implant
implants,
dentistry
and surgical
and
principles.
surgical principles.
All right, so here we go, Ryan. 3, 2, 1. So the first course is going to be understanding implant principles, which is basically design of implants and all that. But not only that, it's going to be understanding the aspects of surgery, and Jan's going to be teaching a second day of that. And so this first day, you'll arrive prior to having completed some online curriculum that gets away some of those things that you can watch on your own, some of the medical things, some of the pharmaceutical things. And then when you arrive, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, and we're going to talk about implant procedures and how that you do implants, the nuts and bolts, the guided surgery versus the traditional surgery. And Jan, the second day tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I love it, Wes. The second day, it's going to be really awesome. You will get to have your hands on. We'll probably have some chicken breasts, which can be later on barbecued. But you will get your hands on suturing techniques, flap designs, what type of suture you use, when, how to tie the knot.
Right.
All those things which are, as I said previously, kind of overlooked.
Right.
And this type of, knowledge you can take to your everyday
Right.
based. It doesn't have to be in implantology.
Yeah.
You do it with your oral surgery techniques. You know?
Good surgical implant principles, and
Yeah.
and
well,
I think
and on day one too, you're also doing some hands-on.
Yeah,
you're
you're-
actually placing some implants into some
yeah,
models.
we're going to get you
learning-
right into
Yeah.
the nitty gritty from
You
the very
get
beginning.
your hands wet for sure.
First time, we're going to go ahead and get you into a system that really we can start to learn the differences between when to do guided, when to do free-handed surgery, and then put your hands into some suturing and learn how to make incisions, when to punch, when not to punch. All these things get covered right up front. And then, John, the 201, a few weeks later or maybe a month later, we'll cover, you'll come back, you'll have completed another online portion, and then 201 you show up, and this is one of my favorite courses. It's immediate extraction, immediate placement. The principles revolving around socket preservation and how to place implants in fresh extracted sockets. What about two-zone grafting technique? You all have seen pictures of us put this stuff on Facebook. How do you do that? And what is the most modern protocols that we're teaching? What is class 1 socket, 2A, 2B, 2C, all these subclassifications? When do you need a membrane? When do you not? And then that afternoon, we incorporate a pig jaw portion, which I know you like, Jan, and we'll be extracting teeth, and we're going to be doing those incision techniques, reviewing those again, the suturing techniques again. And then, John, what it's all about is really putting a crown on those implants and doing it right. And, John, tell us a little bit about your restorative course.
Yeah, that same weekend, because we know that our goal of the first couple of classes is for you to feel comfortable with implant surgery, just to know what you need to do. And then with immediates, which is something a lot of people are nervous about, to give you some confidence about when can you do that? When can you do that? And then how do you accomplish it? But to bring it all together, it's about planning. This is, again, restorative-driven implants, so we're going to spend a day just talking about the prosthetic side. How do you start these cases? Thinking about what the end result needs to look like. That's going to involve me. That's going to involve Brad and Bob as well from the lab perspective. How do you think about surgical guides? How do you think about wax-ups? How do you think about temporization? How do you think about impressioning?
Modern implant design, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Modern implant abutment design.
Abutment design, when do you choose different types of abutments? When do you choose different types of crowns? What do you think about when you're on impression day? What are some of the ways that you can avoid problems with bone loss over time because your crown was not designed properly? What about cement versus screw retain? The question we always get. These are the things that most people really in the end have, I think, the most trouble with when it comes to coming out of a lot of these surgical continuums is, well, what do I actually do on the day that I have to plan it and then the day when I actually have to restore it? And if you're not thinking about that from the beginning, you're going to run into problems when it comes to surgery day. Because the reason we're passionate about GPs, general dentists, placing implants is because you guys have a lot of times the restorative knowledge of what teeth need to look like, where teeth need to go. And so with me, with the lab technicians that understand that, we're going to go together through what does that look like from a process standpoint and make you feel comfortable about choosing your restoration even before you place a single implant.
And again, this is hands-on. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got acrylic layouts with the parts in front of you. You're going to make an immediate temporary. We're going to have all the components in front of you. So that whole afternoon is a
practice
hands-on
taking
experience.
impressions, that type of thing.
It's applying the knowledge from the lecture part in your hands. I
Right.
think it's real important.
Well, I think the thing is that you come away from this being able to communicate with a laboratory in how we do these things and how we're supposed to be doing it.
So then after you've
this is it.
Because we feel it's important to really not get into placing implants until you have some of these principles behind you. You know what you're going to be accomplishing. You think about the restorative side, and then it's time.
Oh, man.
It's time for really what we consider to be sort of the culmination, sort of the capstone of this entire thing, which is live patient implant surgery.
Imagine a weekend where you show up with your team, okay? Because there's a team component of the course that happens now. You bring 2 people from your practice, an assistant, and maybe you bring a manager, or maybe bring 2 assistants. I don't know. You decide. You work with the people there, and what we're going to do is we're going to show up and we're going to have cases ready for you over a 2-day period and place dental implants on these patients.
And cases that we have pre-selected
Yeah, we vetted these
for
cases.
you to be successful on. Cases that you can feel that we know that your surgical skill level is appropriate, and we're there to help to make sure that you can have a successful first, second, third implant process. And at the same time, having the ability to have your team get training on parts and pieces and sterilization technique while the doctors are getting experience with implant placement.
I think one point, a real important point here is how that's done. I mean, we've developed a team of mentors. So you're going to have one mentor assigned to 3 doctors.
All right,
So that is your mentor.
So Dr.
for 2
Jan,
days.
Dr. Haley, Todd Haley, myself, or John,
Correct.
is going to be assigned to you during your day of surgery, and you're going to get to spend the entire day with that doctor and a few other your colleagues learning surgical placement live hands-on.
Over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder help training. And I think that's an important aspect.
Yeah, you're not just thrown in there, to do this, because there are courses we hear about where it's like, okay, good luck, but we're in there with you making sure that the principles that we've talked about in the classroom and through the hands-on portion are now applied.
So all these things build up to this weekend.
Yeah.
And you have, you're doing live surgery, and then down maybe in another room, your assistants are working with a highly trained assistant on how to do, the sterilization, all of the nuts and bolts. They're actually performing surgery on solid models so that they understand the parts and pieces too, so that they can hand you the drill that you really learned about upstairs. But what makes this all come together is being able to implement it. And that is the 3rd day, a half day of implementation. How in the world do we implement implants in our practice?
Right, because you're going to come out of this day excited.
You're going to want to get started.
You're ready to roll.
We're going to want to get started immediately.
That we have that excitement, we need Todd to come in and say, okay, so on Monday, what do we do?
Right.
And that's what we expect is you'll come out of that day going, okay, I know what I need to do to actually put these systems in my practice, start talking to patients about this. And we feel it's important for more than just the doctor to be there for that, so everybody, if you're the only one excited about it, you got to rally the troops. We want them to be there to get excited about it as well, come back and be able to say, the same things, to be able to be coordinated, calibrated with your team.
I already know you want to sign up, right? I mean, I want to sign up for this course.
Yeah, I mean, Todd is the walking excitement. That's his middle name.
Exactly right. He had to step out, but I mean, like, we can talk about him now.
walking
He is
excitement.
walking excitement.
No, he is awesome.
He's a rainbow maker.
That's for sure.
He's a rainbow maker.
Well, we want you to go, like we say, so if this is something that piques your interest, we want you to get
At whatever level you're
Yeah,
at.
exactly. Whether you're experienced or not, if you don't feel that you're confident and with implants, if you just want to get started with implants, if you're looking for a predictable way in your practice to make this happen, that's doing it the right way, the way that the dental guys would do it. If you've been listening to the show, that's what we're all about. We're going to do it right. If that's what you're looking for, we want you to get signed up. So like Wes said, you're going to see in the comments section of this, if you're looking at it on our website, there's a link directly to a landing page that's got information, it's got dates, it's got costs, it's got information on what you need to know.
It's even got
to
a
get
nice
started.
picture of us.
Yeah, it even has a really nice special picture of everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that nice? You look so nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You do too.
yeah.
You really showed me up though in the 3-piece
Well,
suit, man. I didn't expect that.
They
Jeez.
said look nice.
Yeah,
And
well,
I was like,
I thought nice meant a sport coat and a tie, and here comes Wes, man, with this 3-piece suit. I was
Right.
like, whoa.
one thing I want to make sure that guys that we understand is like we're not just going to let you leave without having some way to come back and talk to us. And part of the curriculum, we talked about this, when you go back to the practice, there's this case that shows up on Tuesday, Thursday, or whenever, or a month later, and you're like, man, I wish I could just ask Wes, John, or Jan, or Todd how to do this. Well, guess what? For 6 months, you're going to have direct access to us after you complete that course. And we'll outline how that'll be. You'll be able to get in touch with us, go over the case, spend some time with a mentor, and really start to hone your skills about how you're going to do the case.
Right.
And we really want you to be able to feel comfortable that first 6 months really getting going. And that's the personal touch that we want to provide for you is direct access to us for a period of time until you get going.
right? And we'll also provide you with lots of other resources, people that you can call
Yeah.
when you need help.
There's a whole team behind
right,
all of this that's
exactly,
making this happen. It's
exactly.
not just
It's
the dental guy.
teamwork, which really counts, which
Yeah.
really defines the relationship. It's starting with the proper patient selection, but then you have your team, and
Yes.
that's the most important.
Yeah, group function, right?
A group function.
Bottom line is when you do all the investment education, does it do you any good unless you don't implement it in your practice? And bottom line, start placing implants, start restoring implants. And I really think all the years that I've done CE, and I know you guys are CE
You're the most
junkies,
excited I've ever seen
I
you,
am.
man.
I've never been so excited. About
I mean, you're
something
giddy
like
as a
that.
schoolboy.
It's
Christmas
kinda crazy.
time.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can play Santa.
Yeah.
But it's putting everything that I think all of us have seen out there and took all the goods that we've been trained on, and we've seen some of the pitfalls of some of the training that's been done.
Yeah.
And we put that all together. And bottom line, our ultimate goal is for you to go out, take this continuum, come back, and place implants that are good quality implants, that are restorative in a good position. So bottom line, the end result is you offer a great service to your patients that are high quality product.
Wow.
And have that mentoring all the way through. So you don't get back in your practice and you go, I got this case, but I'm just not sure. We want to help you pass that.
Right.
And kind of walk you through
Confidence.
and give you that confidence
Yeah.
that you can do that implant and build that. And then pretty soon we're hoping after that 6 months that you leave this continuum, now you're running.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
And you
I
get
like it.
excited enough, that at the end of the day, you are putting your head on your pillow with a smile on your face and like, man.
Yeah, when's the
That
next
was
implant coming in?
awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
You know?
awesome. Right.
That's what you want.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it changes your practice. It really changes your life when you find something like this, that you can get excited about. And again, if you've been listening to the show for any amount of time, if you stuck with us more than one episode, you're probably the kind of person we're looking for.
Right. Well, I want to thank the Dental Crafters Network
Yeah.
for sponsoring us. And if you're interested in working with a good partner, we've talked about partnerships. We've talked about, relationships. Look no further than the Dental Crafters Network. They have it from guides to restorative parts to the implants that we're going to be using during the course. We've chosen the Dental Crafters Network as our support group, and we're excited about that. So if you're interested in talking to them, if you're looking for something right now that you need to move on, call 1-800
472
8302. Yeah, we've kind of memorized that.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
but we really appreciate them sponsoring the show today.
Yeah, they help make this all possible, and we're excited about the future with restorative-driven implants.
Absolutely.
So, John, if you're listening to this on iTunes, I need you to go over there and give us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Jan, have you done that?
I've done 6 stars review.
Yes,
That's what I'm
yes.
talking about.
Brad, have you done that? Brad, the dental lab guy?
I have not. I'm
Right.
guilty,
Oh,
but I
my-
will. As soon
have
as I
you
get
liked
done,
us on
I
Facebook?
have liked you on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm a late
Bob-
bloomer on Facebook.
Bob?
but-
I think this is only my second episode.
All right. Bob's got some growing
Bob's
to do.
got some growing
That's
to do.
all right. That's all right. We
All right.
forgive you.
Okay,
We
Bob.
forgive you.
That's
But
all right.
today's your chance, listeners, to go do that. We want people to hear about this. Spread the word about this. If you find, there are people that are interested in this type of
Right.
education, get it out there because we're looking for the right people. This is going to be a limited number of seats, so this is not gonna
don't
be-
wait.
Yeah, so
Don't
get
wait.
involved with it. Let people know about it.
This is small. That's why we can do that.
Yeah.
We need that one-on-one so that
Yes.
you guys
Right.
have the right experience. This is
Right.
not.
We've
a
limited
lecture
this
hall.
to 15 people.
Yeah, 15 people. So
And
this is
I
a
want
very
you to-
exclusive
Yeah,
kind
so
of thing.
get in now, get the early bird special. It won't last for long.
Yeah.
And call and get signed up. And John, this has been a great episode because you know what? It's all about surrounding ourselves. And I'm better because of these guys.
Absolutely.
And I just want to thank you guys for coming on our show and really supporting the dental
Oh,
guys.
thank you.
Oh, thanks for
Thanks,
letting
guys.
us come.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
appreciate it. Todd, thank you. He's not here. He had
Yeah.
to run. It's his wife's birthday weekend, so we'll let him go
Yeah,
on.
we'll let it go.
So for Wes,
and John.
we are the dental guys.